Hey, do you want to come over and make a pot of tea, bring your favorite crystals? We could talk about our birth charts, spirits, the latest house spells we've been doing. Welcome to the neighborhood. I'm that witch next door. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of That Witch Podcast. Welcome back to another Shadow Chats with the lovely Ashley Michelle of StarSeedShadows. We have just the juiciest little episode today because since we took our season break, since the last time we had Shadow Chats, Ashley, some very exciting things have transpired for you that I'm very excited to ask you about, learn from you about, and I think it's going to really connect a lot to what we're talking about today. So, hi, if you want to say hi to everybody.
Hi, I'm glad to be back. The break is definitely needed and got my shit together, and now we're here.
Now we're here for Libra Annular Solar Eclipse. This is eclipse season has begun. And well, with this will kick off eclipse season. And we have shifted from the Taurus Scorpio axis. We'll have one more eclipse there. But for the most part, we have shifted into the Libra Aries axis for eclipses, which fixed signs unite. We finally sort of get a break on the eclipse axis there. Ash, since the last time we were on here, you've had some pretty big news. Something big happen in your world. I would love for you to share that with everybody because I am very much going to use it to talk about some Libra shadowy chats today.
Well, I've been keeping something from everybody, and now I can talk about it. So myself and my partner are on 90 Day Fiancé. We are on season 10. The first episode drops on October 8th, and it's a vibe because the main premise of our story is Manuel working to understand what it means to be a witch in today's age and what it means to be a spiritual worker, what it means to work online, even what all of this kind of means, and me helping him along this walk. And it's interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah. Now, listeners of the Goddess Complex might know a little bit more, but for anybody listening to us here that hasn't been in your universe yet, Can you tell us a little bit why your and Manuel's relationship is special and unique?
Yeah. So, shameless plug, the Goddess Complex is my podcast. Go check me out over there.
Yeah, if you like what we're doing here, you're going to like what they're doing over there. So make sure.
For sure. We've got some good stuff coming at you for the month of October. Manuel is from Ecuador. We have been in a long-distance relationship. We met about 12 years ago when I was studying biology. I have an undergrad in biology, and that's all she wrote. We have been in contact at minimum once a year since then, and in recent years, we decided, what the hell are we doing? We're older, wiser. We got it all out of our system, for lack of a better word. All the partying, all the banging, all that good stuff. And at the end of the day, we were still in each other's DMs. And so we explored what that was, and you will just have to watch to see what happens and what that looks like. But the whole experience has definitely been the grandest form of shadow work I've ever done. And, it is very clear that when I incarnated in this body, I have a huge contract with my shadow. Just because my business name is StarSeedShadows. I incarnated as a Black woman, a plus-size Black woman at that. You know, I've got Chiron in my first house in Cancer. You know, I end up in this long-distance relationship. Now I'm on a TV show telling the whole world that I'm a witch, when witches have literally been killed for saying such things. Growing up a Jehovah's Witness. I could go on, but long story short, there have been lots of shadows in my incarnation here. And I'm coming out on top. All the shadow integration. I love my shadow. So yeah, you know, it's a vibe. Also, my Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio. And my partner is a Scorpio with 5 planets in Scorpio. Like, there's a huge contract in this incarnation with the shadow that I have. So, the show has allowed me to explore that, along with my business, along with my relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's you're opening up your world for the world to see. And you're doing it as a Cancer rising.
I know.
That's fucking intense.
It
for
is
Cancer
very
rising.
intense. I think the Aquarius moon is really taking over. And, you know, I'm a Cancer rising, Sag, Sun, Aqua moon. And the age of Aquarius, this is a milestone in our history. All the astrologers know, you know, moving out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. And we've been seeing it through the up levels in our technology and the way that we communicate with one another, and how technology has been moving so quickly, and aliens becoming mainstream news. We're seeing how the age of Aquarius is manifesting. And also this movement, Aquarius always sticks up for the little guy. It's what Aquarius is known for, you know, being the individual, going first so that you don't have to. And I really have just been leaning into my Aquarius moon inside of this experience, because it's time for us to take our word back. And it's time for the people to put some respect on our name. The work that we do is honest, real work. And we are out here, you know, helping people really return to source and become the best versions of themselves through all different forms of divination. So, you know, put some respect on our name, put some respect in what we do. You know, we're not fucking green with bumps on our faces. We don't fly on broomsticks. We don't worship Satan. And even if we did, what the fuck is it your business? I think that's like the bigger message here about, you know, inclusivity and the mainstream folks. When I say mainstream, I mean the collective, I mean middle America, I mean the everyday person, recognizing that we are in a world right now where discrimination is no longer cute. No matter who you decide to bang, no matter what color you are, no matter what size jeans you are, and no matter what your relationship to the god or the goddess looks like. And
how you fucking dress.
How you dress, like totally. None of it matters. Whether you're a single parent or whether you've got multiple parents hanging out in your home.
Whether you're cool or nerdy.
Yes.
Same, totally fucking agree. Totally
Inclusivity is necessary for our expansion as a collective. We cannot expand without being fully inclusive. Not just halfway. Like, oh, the Black people can sit with us, but the gays can't. Like, we're not doing that. And that is my bigger reason for doing this show. And so I hope that it shines through. I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it. We don't have any control over the edit.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, exactly.
You know, I hope that, you know, that it shines through, and the people that have been following my work for a number of years, you all know what's up. And that's all that matters.
This is exactly why I am so just thrilled with the timing of everything.
Yeah.
Because this premiere of 90 Day, which is October 8th. So by the time everyone's listening to this, it will have just fresh dropped. And the so everyone's going to be hearing this on Friday the 13th. What up?
Love
And
it.
the eclipse is tomorrow on October 14th. 90 days every Sunday, right?
Every Sunday, 8 p.m. EST, yeah.
So on the 15th, you'll get your next episode. So if you didn't already know, you can tune in and watch Ash and watch all of this unfold.
Right.
And ultimately, what I'm excited about is that this idea of the Libra new moon and Libra on our journey of the zodiac.
Libra is a good energy to have sitting with us during this time.
Absolutely.
Libra for sure is a good energy.
This is an energy talking about connection, relationships. And we have to understand when we talk about connection, there is this constant dance that we're doing of being ourselves and remaining true to our authenticity and connecting with this person.
Exactly.
And that sometimes it works out so perfectly and you're yourself the whole entire time, but I want to be truthful and transparent about this from the start so we can all be fucking honest with ourselves. Everybody, whether it's at work or out in public or with friends or family, everybody has a little bit different version of themselves depending on who's around and what's being reflected back at them. 100%. Do you agree with that right off the bat?
I totally agree with that. And that's a hard truth for a lot of people to swallow, that because essentially what you're saying is we morph to the environment that we're in.
And we do.
And we do. I would totally agree with that. We definitely do. And I'm not sure if there's anything right or wrong with that because as we know, right and wrong are really just constructs of the 3D matrix, right? So is it right? Is it wrong? Who knows? I think to add to your point, one thing that I think Libra does beautifully is this like unbiased judgment.
Yes,
it's ruled by the Justice card, right?
And Venus.
And not to jump around, but going back to your point on that morphing energy, Venus gives that morphing sort of vibe, the 100%. Gaseous planet, it's stormy and yellow and smoggy and it kind of just morphs to its form. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And this is why Libra is ruled by the Justice card. This is why Libra is symbolized by the scales. There is a give and take. You can lie about it to yourself all you want. No, I'm the exact same no matter who and what's around. You're not. Nobody is. And that's okay. I think that's where it's not so much about, I love how you said that. It's not so much about whether it's right or wrong. I think that there's a spectrum that this happens on. And I think that there's a point on the spectrum that you can begin to lose yourself.
I would agree.
And I think this is the Libra Shadow we're going to start getting into here.
Yeah.
Is maintaining authenticity and truth in who you are while opening yourself up for connection without losing yourself.
Right. No, I totally agree with that.
I think it's easiest to do that when you're saying, well, I'm just being nice. I'm just being a nice person. I'm just trying to get along with everybody. Totally. And I think that the Libra new moon every year is an opportunity to take a look at exactly this and how it shows up in each of our lives.
It's funny that you say that too, because one of the shadows of Libra is that I'm just being nice. We call Libra Switzerland because Libra never wants to take a side, but traditionally speaking, Libra is the person or the energy, if you will, that will agree with somebody just for the fuck of agreeing with them, even if they don't, because they're just being nice. Then they'll go to the other person and then they'll agree with them and their side because they're just being nice. It's a huge shadow that Libra has about just kind of appeasing the situation so that they don't get their hands dirty.
Right.
And I loved how you put that because I think we can all be kind of guilty of that sometimes, of just kind of dumbing ourselves down or not really saying what we mean or what we want to say because we'd rather just not deal with it, or we don't want to get our hands dirty, or we don't want to offend, or we're afraid of being wrong, or whatever the case may be. It's a huge shadow that I think we find within the collective, and we, of course, find within ourselves.
Absolutely. Would you say that this experience for you right now, you've gone through filming for 90 Day and now it's out, like the world is about to see, and would you say that this exact kind of lesson has been offered to you? You had a choice every time cameras went on who you're going to be, what you're going to share, how you're going to share it, because there is this, it's easy for us to be like, well, it would be easier to just not share that part or not be that way, or to be the way that I know everyone will like more. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, definitely.
We know what people like. We know how to morph to them.
Right. You know, that is tough. So the thing about it is you have to know who you are when you decide to get on any of these platforms, whether you're deciding to run an online business, whether you are deciding to sign on to a reality TV show, whether you're deciding, when you are deciding to play in a 3D world that is entertainment, and that is being in the public eye, right? And it is very much a 3D world, being in the public eye, no matter how you look at it, because there's so many dense energies looking at you. And our job is to help elevate that world, but we're slowly getting there. I think that it's important to make a decision on what our boundaries are, which I think Libra can sometimes have a hard time doing. And let our yeses mean yes and let our no's mean no, and know who the fuck we are, right? And understand that we are playing in the matrix. So there's there's like a fine line. I guess a lot of the things that I'm going through while I'm in this process is remembering, like, hey, I'm just playing in the matrix. Maybe don't take it so seriously. Allow myself to be in play. Love and laughter and in play is the highest frequency we can hold as spiritual beings. So allowing myself to be in play while we're doing this is only going to help the message be received. And then there's also the other aspect of making sure that what is happening is authentic to who I am, to our story, and to what we're doing here, and to make sure that those lines are not crossed when it comes to authenticity and who we are. And a lot of it too is understanding the mission. And the mission for us is, I mean, in a nutshell, representation. Representation for women, for the Black community, for the Latino community, for minority couples, for the witch community, for the spiritual community. Like, in a nutshell, speaking for both of us, I think it's representation and showing that there's two things can be true at the same time, and there's more than one way to get to God. And, you know, Black women on TV don't necessarily need to look a certain way that tends to be depicted on mainstream television. And, you know, a voice for the Latino community, which I think is very important. So yeah, I feel like I answered that question.
You did.
Yeah.
So I have probably my biggest main question for you for today. And first, I want to let everybody know when exactly this Libra new moon is going to take place. So this is going to be an annular solar eclipse, like I said. I put a link in the show notes for everybody. There's a super cute, handy tool on NASA called Where and When. And it'll show you where in the world the line of visibility is for this eclipse, which I thought was super, super handy. So you can find that in the show notes. Spoiler alert, if you're on the Upper East Coast with Ash and I, you'll be very far away. So don't even get your hopes up. We won't be able to see it. But this eclipse is happening on Saturday, the 14th at 1:55 p.m. Eastern time. This is at 21 degrees of Libra. So the sun and the moon, since this is new moon, we're going to be at 21 degrees of Libra. Mars will be fresh into Scorpio, fresh into its cycle in Scorpio, which I think is
Mars is gonna love
spicy. Yep, I like that. Pluto will have just stationed direct that week. We still have plenty in retrograde, including Chiron, Saturn. I am 99% sure that Jupiter is still retrograde during this time. Yeah. Mercury's going to be in Libra, and Venus is going to be in Virgo. So just to kind of give everybody a little taste, a little understanding of where some of our planetary characters are going to be. My question for you, Ash, as a piece of advice for everyone listening.
Mm-hmm.
You have been in your business for a fucking minute now.
Yeah.
You have already been showing up on these platforms for a fucking minute.
Yeah.
90 Day is a big level up, is a big step up, but it's not, it's new in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it's not, because it's still, I agree with you, it's still the same concept of showing up, being visible on a platform, opening yourself up, opening your world up to the world. My question for you that I think would probably be the most helpful to people, because most people have a hard time being seen in the first place.
Yeah.
How would you advise somebody? How do you maintain your authenticity, showing up, knowing that you need to connect with people? You need to make these connections. What makes it's not just what makes our business go round, what makes our world go round. We have a human need for connection. It's literally part of our biology.
Right.
And then you make it part of your business as well. How do you maintain that among the judgment, the haters, the temptation that's always there to kind of sell out, quite honestly?
Yeah. Well, isn't that the question of the hour, right?
Exactly. And it's a lifelong process, of course. But I want to ask you, because I think that so many people just
need it.
To be honest, they stay blind to this for a long time because they know how hard the work is, and they stay small and stay invisible and kind of keep themselves numbed in this. But I can see and I hear from them how much they're craving authenticity. It's why they're drawn to people like you.
Right.
How do you maintain that?
Well, I think the first piece, this is going to be a multi-layered answer. I think the first piece is knowing who the fuck you are. Like, I can't, say that enough. Knowing who you are. And this is where the divination comes into play, right? We use tools like shadow work, like our birth charts, like the tarot, like the Akashic records, like past life regressions. We utilize these tools to help us understand who the fuck we are, right? Journaling, spell work, mantra work, all of it, right? The gym, yoga, meditation, right? Water intake. We use all of it to help us understand who we are. And I think once you have a solid foundation and understanding who you are and what you stand for, it's easier to be more authentic. How can one be authentic when they don't know what they stand for? They don't know who they are. They don't know what they're being authentic to. I also think a big piece of it is knowing what the mission is. What are you here for? If you're somebody listening and you're wanting to build a business, you're wanting to be on a bigger platform, you're wanting to take on a leadership role inside of this big niche of spirituality, what do you stand for? What's your mission? You're here to be a change maker, but in what way? And I know that's a loaded question, and that's going to take a while to know the answer in the sense that you are always uncovering more pieces of self as you're on this spiritual walk, more pieces of who you are and understanding how much you can actually hold. And, this is definitely the road less traveled as far as visibility goes. It's much easier to be on the sidelines. It's much easier to be in the background. It's much easier to be not seen. But then we run into the fact that your quality of life is so much lower than it could be. The folks that are unseen, that want to be seen, often tend to not be happy. Bold statement, but true. And again, I'll repeat that. If you're somebody who is wanting to be seen, wanting to take on a leadership role, but you're kind of sitting at the sidelines watching everybody else do it, you're missing an integral piece in your quality of life because you know that you're supposed to be doing more. That was me 4 years ago before I started my business. I knew damn well that I was supposed to be doing more. Like, I will never forget being on my knees in my kitchen floor, listening to those church bells, looking at empty beer cans with cigarette butts all over them, looking at my ex-boyfriend fucking drunk on the couch, and just being like, this isn't it. And just like feeling this like overwhelm of frustration because I knew it wasn't it. Like I knew that there was more that I was supposed to be doing here. And if you know that feeling, then you know that feeling. And that feeling is what drove this ship. And now we're here. And doing TV shows and talking about this spiritual work on a huge platform and, bringing somebody who's from another country into this world and learning about myself through his eyes, even, in ways that I can improve on being a better partner and being a better communicator and being even better at working with my own shadow. So as far as visibility goes, if you're called to be more visible, another point I want to make, the third one, is you got to chip away at it. For some of us, it does come easier. I will say that. Some people are natural extroverts. They're like, look at me go. And for some people, they're not like that. And wherever you are on that spectrum, you still got to kind of chip away at it. I tend to counsel clients on just like, even if it's a picture of your dog that you post on Instagram, post the picture of your dog. Just really starting off small and getting into the habit. And I know I probably sound like a broken record if you all listen to a lot of like self-help podcasts and personal development podcasts. There's a reason why that is a thing, because these sorts of ideals need to be habitual. This is what creates the foundation to help you become more visible by showing up consistently online and, sending an email out to your email list, creating these relationships with colleagues inside of the field and collaborations with people, recording the podcast episode, going out and taking the content. It's gotta become habitual. There's really no way around that. And in the act of doing those things, the visibility will naturally come, that visibility bone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, long-winded answer, but heavy question.
Very, yes, and helpful, and leads me very easily into this one, which is when we talk about Libra and not losing ourselves, but realizing that when we're in Libra, connection's on high. It's a high priority when we're in Libra. What are some of the ways, what are some examples, whether in your personal life or in your business, that you maintain authenticity, but you also offer this genuine connection? Because I think, Ash, one thing I really admire about your work, and something I also try to do in my business as well in my personal life, is I need to maintain this balance of like honoring myself and my boundaries, but showing up for other people too.
Yeah.
Because
Objectivity.
we're seeing some intense shit in the coaching industry right now.
Oh my God, aren't we? Hello, Pluto. Hello.
Yeah,
we are. Well,
people that are saying I'm here for you,
right,
and are exploiting this caregiving, generous nature for actually just nothing but personal gain. So
Nothing but personal gain.
How do you maintain that while still like honoring yourself, knowing your worth, charging that, etc., but still showing up for the people and having that mindset?
Okay, so another layered answer. So objectivity is the word that came in, and objectivity more so for the self. I think a lot of it is we kind of judge ourselves when it comes to showing up in these spaces. Like, I can't show up online if my hair is not done. I can't show up if my makeup's not done. I can't show up if I have nothing to say. I can't talk about the Libra new moon because all the other astrologers are talking about it, and I don't want people to think I'm copying. Like, all these weird things we do so that we kind of don't show up, right? And one thing that I love to do is just to kind of bring y'all on in. Like, I hang out in my bed and talk to people on my stories, and I love doing that. And it's this raw honesty. We need to understand that in this field, right, in this entrepreneurship field, no matter what you offer, at the core of it, it's about creating relationships. That's what it is at the core. And it's about really wanting to get to know that person on the other end and really wanting to be there for them, whether or not they buy something from you. I have people in my universe that are probably listening to this podcast right now. Shout out, y'all know who you are, who haven't even bought anything from me, but we have a relationship in the DMs and we talk to each other, and, you know, they give me advice and I give them advice, and it's a friendship, right? And I think as a community, especially, this is more so geared towards first world America type vibe. It's this like instant gratification sort of thing. And we see all these people online like, oh my God, I just made X amount of dollars on my launch. Do you want to come in? And it's like, it's not that simple. It's not that real. It's not that necessary. Like, what is your why? That goes back to the mission. Like, my mission is not to make 100K off somebody else's back. My mission is so that every motherfucking baby witch out here feels comfortable playing with their tarot cards in the sandbox. That's the mission. And when we realize what our missions are, none of it matters. And when we release the energy around the outcome, well, then that's when the abundance comes in. That's when the outcome comes in, because we release wanting to have control around it. And that's really what I think a lot of business is, especially spiritual business of the spiritual kind, right? Understanding how to release control, because we want to control everything. You know, I know I'm not the only one here, like shouting out to the rooftops where I have a control problem, right? And so it's like realizing that, like, we can't control the outcome here. The only thing that we can control is our mission and what it is we're doing here and our why. I think that allows you to take your power back, and recognizing that also too, one thing that I've recognized is you never know how something you say online really helps somebody else out. And I've noticed that just, you know, the cute DMs I get about a podcast episode or one of our episodes, or me posting something about a gym workout that I didn't think anybody would care about. And then all of a sudden I'm being flooded in my DMs about how they really appreciated seeing me do that. And I'm like, I was just fucking around. You know?
You're being you.
Exactly. And what people need to recognize, like, stop being afraid of your own shadow, quite literally. Like, what the people want is you. That's what they want. They want to see you being you. We don't need the bells and whistles. We don't need the fancy hair. We don't need the flashy websites. We just really need to be who we are. And if that's you and a $20 paperback book on astrology, then that's you and a $20 paperback book on astrology. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. I think that one of my favorite things I've been doing to like honor my just natural authenticity is this idea of, have you heard of the concept of like romanticizing your life and like romanticizing all the
girl.
things?
That's how we got here, honey.
Yeah, this is Libra through and through and through and through, and Taurus, quite honestly. This is a Venetian fucking thing. So. But I really love like taking a picture, putting a filter on it, even if I don't post it or not. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
like just for me. And it captures this moment in a way more like you're romanticizing it. It means like you're putting this like beauty on it and seeing it through that beauty
Mm-hmm.
lens for what it is. And this has helped like really, really grow my appreciation just for who I am, what I do, and how I live. And whether
Yeah.
it's for your business or whether it's like opening yourself up to love connection or
Right.
opening yourself up to friendship connection in your life, whatever
Or
way that is.
expansion, you know, maybe you're having a hard time telling your parents that you want to do this. Like, I know that's a big pain point for a lot of people. It was for me, just pulling the trigger, like, oh, by the way, parents, I'm going to build an online business based off astrology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary for a lot of people, you know, whatever it is, you know.
It's scary for people to just talk about, I'm using astrology to learn more about myself.
Yes.
There are so many people in our lives that look at us and are like, you're literally wasting your time with that nonsense.
Yes.
And that's how they see it. And how do you maintain? Because a lot of times you'll hear that and you instantly start questioning. Am I wasting my time? Did I do this? And this is why it's so important to know who the fuck
you are. And that's the thing. Like, I've seen astrology. Nobody can tell me astrology is a pseudoscience. I'm sorry. I've seen too many birth charts. I'm sure you can relate.
I know.
Way too many astrological events. Like, none of this is coincidence. Like, this is way too many coincidences happening right now. Way too many.
Nobody, oh my God, real astrologers, real educated astrologers do not believe that planets control us.
Right.
It has, and anybody in your life that fucking talks about that, I could be blue in the face until I say, like, this is, most astrologers will tell you, I don't know why it works.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you why. I don't know where, I don't know. But I know it's the most ancient fucking practice that we have. And I know that it works.
And somebody with Mars in the first house, you can, by knowing just that, you can deduce down a lot of characteristics about that person and probably what they should be doing for work before you even check out their 10th house.
Absolutely.
Just by knowing that.
Yes.
There's too much. I've seen too much of it working for it to not, for there to not be any merit.
I absolutely agree. There's a reason why in the zodiac, in the progression of the zodiac, we begin at Aries.
Yeah.
And we make a progression to Libra so that by the time we are cultivating significant relationships in our lives, we do have a solid foundation of who we are. We do have an understanding of where we come from. And what I was going to say, what I was going to add on to what you said about anchoring into who you are is being unapologetic about your fucking preferences.
Seriously.
God damn it. It's okay to like shit. It's okay to not like shit. Like, you don't have to like go full Aries shadow with it where you like shit all over what people do and don't like because you don't like it or whatever. Like, that's the Aries shadow where it's like, all right, well, you're not really opening yourself up for connection if you're just going to shit all over everybody from this really egocentric place.
Yeah.
But Libra does take some of that Aries medicine and is like, I can remember who the fuck I am, what turns me on, what turns me off.
Exactly.
And run with that and be unapologetic about it.
And go from there.
Absolutely.
And that's all we can do.
Yeah.
You know?
This is, I really, one thing, like Ashley and I realized before we started recording, this is our second year of shadow chats. We're just beginning. This is our third Libra new moon that we've talked about together. It's so crazy. We started on the Libra new moon.
How the 2 years ago has gone by.
I know. So crazy. So crazy. And you, if you're new around here, I highly encourage you to scroll back and listen to the progression of shadow chats because there's so much good information there. But a lot of what I don't want to keep doing year in and year out is, hi, let's teach everybody what Libra is. Here are the Libra shadows. I want to use the new moon and the energy coming up And in this case, this is an eclipse, which is exactly why I was like, I want to like get a little chaotic today. I want to ask about some big layered shit that gets your own gears turning. That's embodied astrology to me.
Yeah.
Is you let it kind of offer you these themes and these lessons to think about and stop moving through your life so, I don't know, mindless, you know?
Right.
Like, that's what I love about astrology.
I would agree. I think one thing, hot take or that grinds my gears a little bit is, everybody wants to look at astrology and they want to be an astrologer, but then they don't want to implement the work. Mm-hmm. And they're so, astrology is so deep and so fucking fun. But, I love what you said. It's about taking what we're talking about and then implementing it into our lives, right? Mm-hmm. And, all the emails that you get around the new moon and the full moon and the questions to ponder and, all of the work that we do as astrologers for you all. Are you pondering these questions? Are you thinking about these things? I was just talking about, the Chiron and Aries transit, because at the time that we're recording this, we're getting off of a full moon in Aries. And it's like, what limiting beliefs do you have around your leadership? Mm-hmm. Seriously, don't just process the question, but what limiting beliefs do you have around your leadership? This full moon is going to help you really think about that. Mm-hmm. And so I think you can agree with me when I urge the folks listening to really, the easiest way to implement the astrology that you intake is to just sit on it. We're so go, 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 go all the time and move, 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 move. What if we just took a pause and we took a beat and we processed and we internalized the tea, the medicine that we're getting, what a difference that would make in the next decision that we make that day.
Right. That's how exactly. Yeah. How can you take the information you're hearing from the astrological community around the new moon, around an eclipse, around whatever astrological transit it is, let yourself marinate on it, and then how are you letting that impact your decisions from there on out? How are you using this information to embody your aauthenticity?
Exactly.
To embody your ultimate alignment.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. I've always said astrology became the glue. It filled in all the cracks, these parts about me and these parts of my life that they didn't feel and seem connected. And astrology filled in all of those cracks and validated me being a multi-dimensional, very complex and dynamic person with all these different areas of life. And it does help me exactly, especially because of the way it's these orbital patterns that you track and you follow. And it does provide this structure and consistency, but it is a conceptual practice and it does open your mind and get you to expand. Today's episode is brought to you by Sister Yarrow, one of my favorite handmade clothing, home goods, and accessories companies located in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Created by one of my dear friends, owner and artist, Madeline Greason, Sister Yarrow connects you to both earth and spirit by bringing you handmade, one-of-a-kind pieces inspired by nature and all things magic. Now, this autumn, Sister Yarrow's most recent collection is called the Earth Seasons Collection. It is a mixture of earrings, necklaces, and accessories and more that primarily focus on beautiful mixed metals, crystals, and other minerals with an emphasis on simplistic, gorgeous, bohemian designs. Now, in addition to their newest collection, Sister Yarrow also offers a wide variety of products like sun catchers and mobiles. I have a couple in my home, and they are a favorite of myself and my daughter. They cast little rainbows across the room. We've got home goods, candles, crystals, clothing, and more. And listeners of That Witch podcast also get an exclusive discount on sisteryarrow.com. Simply use the code ThatWitch10 to receive 10% off your entire order. Go to sisteryarrow.com. Make sure you subscribe to their email newsletter so you never miss their newest collection, newest products, or exclusive discounts and sales. And make sure you use code ThatWitch10 to receive 10% off your entire order at sisteryarrow.com. So I don't know. I think it's very easy in Libra season to get swept away in this kind of watered down advice. Just treat yourself, enjoy the harmony around you. And there's a lot more that Libra and the Libra new moon has to offer you around
than just harmony and peace
exactly.
and down blankets.
Right. And
I always think of
Libra's
down
more than
blankets
that.
when I think of Libra.
I love that. I think of feathers in general, yes,
Yeah.
and lux and
Yeah.
sparkles, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But don't let that water down who you are. I think it's easy to kind of get lost in that. And then we do kind of get slammed by the intensity of Scorpio season. We do. But if we lean into this, we show up to Scorpio season with our connections like even more solid than before. That's the beauty of Libra.
And objectivity. I'm going to say it again,
I love
Libra
that.
is ruled by the Justice card. And Scorpio has the tendency to get sucked into its own doom that's like totally internalized and half the time not even real. And so if we have A, a lot of Scorpio placements, or B, really powerful Scorpio placements, you know what I mean? Scorpio season can hit us like a ton of bricks. I know last Scorpio season was rough for you, girl. It was rough for you too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was rough for a lot of us. And so I think one thing that I plan on doing before Scorpio season hits is just that check-in. That personal check-in of, am I being objective? Am I being too hard on myself? And what is coming through with this word objectivity, it's not necessarily to the other, it's to ourselves, because we judge ourselves too much. We are always like in constant judgment of, are we doing this right? Are we doing this wrong? Like, how will people perceive us? Like, maybe I shouldn't post this. Maybe I should post this. Like all these things we do. And what if we just were unapologetically, authentically, and objectively ourselves, and we just press post because this is how I felt and this is what I want to do and this is what I'm saying. And we stopped attaching so much meaning or negativity to what it is we're doing, and we just let it live.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So yeah.
That's why I just think that when we talk about the Aries Libra axis, that Aries gets all the glory for teaching us our authenticity. And I think that if you move through Libra season the way it's meant to be moved through, it is also a strengthener of your authenticity. And
I would totally agree.
Your relationships directly will reflect that.
And it takes the emotions out of it,
Exactly.
Like Aries is filled with emotions, sometimes so much so that like it can be a little chaotic. And Libra takes a step back. Libra is a good lesson in taking a breath.
Right.
And taking a beat. And just recognizing like it's okay to take a breath here for a moment. Like the world's not going to sweep away without us. The train's not leaving the station. It's fine.
There's a fine line between constantly people pleasing and knowing your battles that you pick. Aries chooses every motherfucking battle.
Every motherfucking one.
Libra teaches us, Jesus, dude, like, choose your goddamn battles. But you can lose yourself in that into hyper people pleasing and never choosing a battle. And true Libra, the diplomat, they know the battle to choose.
Yep. Agreed.
And they go to bat.
Very good point.
And if that means going to bat for you, go to bat for you.
Exactly.
Post the fucking picture.
Post the fucking picture.
I love it so much. So
no
Ash,
shame.
Before we close out today, I love this. You always come and share such beautiful divine knowledge with us.
Oh,
please tell us where we can find you, follow and support you, and of course, follow along in this incredible 90-day journey. I'm so
excited. Show me some love. PSA, calling all witches, calling all healers, calling all intuitives. Show your girls some love. I'm literally out here doing God's work right now.
Yeah, and everyone's out there telling her all kinds of stuff. So let's all show up in support of our Starseed witch.
Yes, please, darlings. Starseed Shadows everywhere. Starseed Shadows on Instagram, Starseed Shadows on TikTok. StarSeedShadows.com is the website. The Goddess Complex is the podcast. At the time that you all are listening to this, we're getting ready to, or we may have already. Either way, I'll make sure Danny has the link to drop an offer, a free offer that we'll be doing all around building up that grit to create a business that stays successful to the end of time. So that's where I'm at. My DMs are always open. Come say hi.
Yay. Go listen to the Goddess Complex. Hit the follow button on Starseed Shadows everywhere.
Yeah.
And very much follow along. Always something good.
Yes, the show airs on TLC. TLC Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And you can also watch it on Max, HBO Max.
Ooh,
you can watch it on Sling TV. Yeah, so you can watch it on a number of different platforms. So yeah.
Oh, this is so exciting. Mm-hmm. And if you go follow her, you'll get to watch like all this awesome behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, tons of BTS.
The real Ash.
Tons of BTS. My business birth chart has a rising in Leo. So I really do love doing the BTS, just knowing that only the people on my stories are gonna like hear whatever I'm going to say.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much. It's the best. Oh, thank you for being here, my dear, and sharing all of this wisdom with us.
I love it.
Thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful new moon solar eclipse this weekend. Enjoy the rest of Libra season. Make sure you stay safe, of course, and stay magical out there. What is that witch school? Well, it's kind of my twist on Patreon. See, for as little as $5 a month, you can get instant access to our entire back catalog of incredible bonus content, like bonus episodes, witchy lessons, a ton of astrology resources, guest teachings, and so much more. But I didn't want to just keep the magic going in between episodes with bonus content. I wanted to keep the learning going, and I wanted to keep the community going. So I also offered tiers that opened up opportunity for continued intentional, magical academic learning, as well as opportunity for creating community with like-minded witchy individuals. For just $30 a month, you can get full, complete access to everything inside that witch school, including our exclusive members-only social media platform on Mighty Networks, where right now, witches and energy practitioners and students just like you are all learning, working together, sharing together, and supporting each other week in and week out. We talk about the show, we share dreams that we've had, we share each other's tarot readings, and ultimately, we support each other as magical beings in a very anti-magical world. You can join us today at thatwitchnextdoor.com/enroll to learn more and start your enrollment today.